Name a white person that killed a black person that is not or have not been held accountable in the last 5 years.
George Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman wasn't even white.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. So in this video, we're going to do a continuation of the story from Frisco, Texas with Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony. This is a continuation from the video from yesterday. This is basically part two because we got a new update based on what happened the other day at the press conference. So if you guys, just to give you a refresher, Austin Metcalf's dad showed up to the press conference that Karmelo Anthony's parents were having. When he showed up to the press conference, somebody got pissed off. They called the police and had him removed. So I guess after he got home or on his way home or after the press conference, apparently, allegedly, somebody, like you see here in this article, it says, quote, sick prankster swat the house of slain teen Texas Austin Metcalf with bogus shooting report. So for those of you guys that don't know what swatting is, swatting, people categorize it as a prank, but it is absolutely not a prank. It is 100% dangerous. It is literally putting your life at risk if somebody was to do a swatting call on your house. And basically what that means is that somebody will call the police, call 911, and make a false police report of some type of extremely dangerous situation at your house. So let's just say somebody doesn't like me, right? They will call 911 and say that there's a kidnapping, an active shooter, something dangerous at a specific address, right? They know these people's address. They know Austin Metcalf's parents' address. So they call 911 on his address saying that there's some type of shooting going on, which is where the term swatting comes from. Because when you make that type of phone call, the response from the police department is usually through SWAT. It is extremely aggressive how they respond to like active shooters and active, threat of somebody's life. So that's what they did. They called 911 and said that there's some type of active shooter at his house, basically meaning that he could be the suspect. Austin Metcalf's dad could be the possible suspect that the police are being called on. So when the police arrive to his home, you know what people expect to happen. They're literally putting this guy's life in danger, at risk of possibly getting shot by the police for something that's not even happening.
Better breaking news and an update on the deadly stabbing in Frisco. Frisco police just confirmed a swatting call was made tonight to an address belonging to the victim's father. Now that's a prank call designed to bring a lot of police to a scene. Tonight, Jeff Metcalf confirms to WFAA he wasn't home when it happened, but he did arrive about 5 minutes later. Now, this is new information, and right now we're working to learn more details. But earlier today, everything stopped and heads turned when Metcalf showed up to a news conference called by the suspect's family. Tonight, Matt Howerton has a desperate plea from Karmelo Anthony's mother.
They came to speak for the accused. Jeff Metcalf came for his son. The father of Austin Metcalf surprised cameras at a press conference in Dallas Thursday, waiting for the mother of Karmelo Anthony to speak for the first time. Anthony, 17, now charged with murder, out on bond after telling police he stabbed Metcalf in self-defense. Metcalf's father asked to leave the press conference, and then it began like this.
The father being at this press conference. These are my words. Don't quote anybody. Is a disrespect to the dignity of his son.
Metcalf telling WFAA he was just there to listen.
I'm not here to create a disturbance. I'm just here to stand by and witness this press conference.
And shook the hands of officers before leaving. Since he was asked to leave the press conference, we asked Metcalf what he thought about those remarks. Thursday night, he told us he's not talking to any media right now.
Our family has been under attack.
Anthony's mother, Kayla Hayes, did eventually speak.
The claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false.
Emotionally denying her family has used any money from a Give, Send, Go fund that's collected over $450,000. The internet has suggested otherwise and has flooded Hayes' family with threats, she says.
My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom.
At the presser, it was also revealed that Frisco ISD has moved to expel Anthony weeks before he was supposed to graduate. An accusation of murder on school property results in an automatic expulsion per the district's code of conduct. Anthony could appeal and there's
a lot of people that say this didn't happen on school property. There's a lot of people that say this didn't happen on school property, but hey, you just seen it. Murder on school property is reason for expulsion. So this was on school property, ladies and gentlemen. And for those of you guys talking about the funds being used to buy a home and a car and all that, let that go. It's a distraction, right? We don't need to make up false news, false narratives around this situation whatsoever. We are the reasonable people here. We're the ones waiting for the facts to come out, for the evidence to come out before we make any concrete conclusions. And that's the biggest complaint that these people have, is that they're receiving criticism for what they decide to use the funds for, right? That's the only complaint that they have, right? They're talking about misinformation. That's not misinformation. That's speculation. People speculate on what they're doing with their money. That's not misinformation. The only misinformation coming out is from people defending Karmelo Anthony. The only misinformation that I've seen is the fake autopsy report. The misinformation that I've seen is people saying that he allegedly got jumped, that they took his phone and broke it, that they ran into each other at a party previously, that they had an altercation during school. These people, all of that is fake. All of that is fake. That's the misinformation. They're the ones spreading misinformation. So people speculate on what's going on with the money and what they're doing with the dollars and all that. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Throw that out the window. We don't need to make up fake news and false allegations at all. Let the facts play out on their own. Let these people that are defending the indefensible defend it by making up BS, right? Only people that are trying to defend this that have no legitimate defense are the ones making up stuff. So let them.
And an advocate suggested that may happen.
Thank you, and God bless you.
The room emptied when the presser ended, but the temperature around this case didn't drop.
So the reason that I'm bringing this update is to share with you guys why I said the things that I said yesterday. Because the people that we're dealing with, the people that make these types of phone calls swatting Austin Metcalf's dad, are sick and deranged people. But not only that, these people don't know what they're talking about. These people are dumb. They're uninformed. They're brainwashed by the media. And I'm going to show you guys this clip right here that's going to prove to you exactly what I'm talking about, because you're going to see these people here literally spew the most idiotic thing that I've ever heard in my entire. I mean, this is probably the stupidest thing that I've ever heard, ever. But this clip right here is proof and evidence in what I said yesterday, which is that how they see this Austin Metcalf versus Karmelo Anthony situation is a form of revenge. And this clip right here is going to prove it to you. Let's just get into it.
Name a white person that killed a black person that is not or have not been held accountable in the last 5 years.
George Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman wasn't even white.
Just say one thing. I just want to answer your question.
You see, he didn't even apologize. He didn't even apologize for getting that fact wrong. He didn't say, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I was misinformed. Now I know better. Right? And by the way, before we get back into this clip, this person right here in the bottom left corner, does that look like Charlemagne to you guys, or is it just me? It looked like a zesty version of Charlemagne. But anyway, let's get back to it.
Who killed who or whatnot. Cal Rittenhouse was 17 years old, white boy that murdered two or three black kids in Michigan in protest. He was acquitted on all charges.
She said 2 or 3 black. She said 2 or 3 black kids. Kyle Rittenhouse did not shoot a single black person. Kyle Rittenhouse did not shoot a single black person. But this is what they believe. I told you this. And they're using examples of so-called white on black violence that didn't even happen. This didn't even happen. So she believes that Karmelo Anthony is justified because, well, Kyle Rittenhouse was justified because he shot 3 black people. These people are dumb. They're dumb. I'm telling you guys, these people that we're dealing with are stupid. They don't know anything. They listen to everything the media tells them, and they believe that to be true. Because, to be honest with you, I don't blame these people. I don't blame this woman. Because this is the bullshit that she heard from the media. This is the stuff that she heard from CNN and MSNBC and Facebook and all that. They don't do their own research. Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 white people, I believe. White or, they're not black. I think they were white or Hispanic or something like that. They weren't black. I'll tell you that right now. They weren't black. They weren't black at all. But she believes this. This is crazy.
Jordan Penny, I think that's his name. He choked out that black homeless man on a train in New York recently. Was also acquitted of charges. So, and
no,
I guess
neither one of those was killed. Stop.
You know, but he was pointing out like why there could be. I know you don't think it's true, but there could be like a sense of white power supremacy in this country, because sometimes when white people do certain crimes, they're not held to the same extent as black people or other people do. And so you were asking him to give names. I gave you 2, and one was actually the same age as the guy, the black boy that just killed the white guy. And he was acquitted of all his charges. He was also a 70-year-old white boy in Wisconsin.
Happens all the time.
And it's like, well, why was he acquitted when he actually murdered someone? You all are saying that,
because they didn't murder anybody.
They did, though. What do you mean?
No,
Cal
they didn't.
Rittenhouse definitely murdered 2 or 3 people. Are you familiar with the story?
No, I'm not.
You're not familiar with the story. You're not familiar with the story. You think he killed 3 black people. You're not familiar with the story. And I hate that Antoine is not as familiar with the story as I wish he was. Because that point that she brought up, that he shot 3 black people, he should have stopped that shit right there. He should have stopped it right there. Ma'am, stop. You are wrong as hell. You're so wrong, you don't even know it. This is crazy.
They did, though. What do you mean?
No,
Cal
they didn't.
Rittenhouse definitely murdered 2 or 3 people. Are you familiar with the story?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you can't just make that statement then, because you're not.
Absolutely can, because if the court of law determined that they was acquitted of the charges, then that means that he's not a murderer.
No, that means that the system worked in his favor based on who he was, because that wouldn't have worked.
You can't just automatically say somebody is when they not, when they got tried in the court of law.
And the law is always fair, right? And the law is always fair, right?
Absolutely it is in this situation.
I'm gonna tap out. I'm done now.
Because if the evidence is showing that he's not guilty, then why would I say that he's not guilty?
Who are you speaking about?
Innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Same thing for Daniel Penny. I am familiar with Daniel Penny. I am familiar with what happened on the subway I think it was over in New York, right?
Yeah, it was New York.
I am familiar with Daniel Penny. 100%. And in the case of George Floyd, the police officer, the white police officer who was a part of the blue gang, the blue wall, absolutely got held accountable, and he got convicted, and he's in prison today. And I don't even think that was a race. I don't even think that was a race issue. I believe that was an issue of an individual, a cop, overexerting his power over somebody that should not have been in that position in the first place. But at the same time, he didn't deserve to lose his life.
Yeah, so we're just going to stop it right there. I told you guys this in the other video. These people are dumb. These people are stupid. These people are brainwashed. This woman wholeheartedly believes that Kyle Rittenhouse shot 2 or 3 black people and that he got away with murder. So when I said yesterday that these people defending Karmelo Anthony are only defending him because 1, he's black, and 2, because they see this as a form of revenge, this is your proof right here. This is your proof right here, because every example that they bring up to justify whatever is going on in this case, in this situation, is always a case that previously happened that was some type of racially motivated case that was plastered in the media. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing. So this, like I said, is a form of revenge. It's a form of justice for them. So whatever happens to Karmelo Anthony, they don't really care, because what they really ultimately wanted is for a black individual to take revenge on a white individual. That's it. That's all they want. Not for them to get away with it. They don't really care if Karmelo Anthony gets away with it, because they will blame the justice system. They already have an out for that. Right? So if he gets locked up or not is not relevant to these people, because there's an excuse for them that they're going to use if he does get locked up. So all that they wanted, their mission was that, hey, just go take one out for us. That's all that it is. And then if you do get locked up, we'll just blame the system. We'll just say it was white supremacy. It's unfair. Black people are treated differently and unfairly under the justice system. That's what they're going to say. If Karmelo Anthony is found guilty in the court of law, they're going to say that, hey, we already knew it was going to happen. They're going to say, oh, it was Collin County. I live in Collin County. My son goes to school in Frisco, in the same city that this happened in. That's what they're going to claim. That's what they're going to say, because it's majority a white neighborhood. That's what they're going to say, I guarantee you. They've already been using that card. Oh, it's Frisco. It's Collin County. They're going to try to make an example out of him. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. There is no winning this. For them, in their eyes, they already won. They already won. If he gets away with it, it's just the icing on the cake. It's just the icing on the cake. It's something that they don't expect to happen, by the way. They don't expect Karmelo Anthony to be free, because their expectation is that he's already going to be met with unfair justice systems. So they've already written that off as far as his conviction and his guilty and, whatever he's found as. They don't care about that. They're not worried about that. They got what they wanted, which is revenge for George Zimmerman, Kyle Rittenhouse, Daniel Penny, Ahmaud Arbery, all of these cases. That's all that this was. And brainwash people like this woman right here prove it to you day in and day out. Unbelievable. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about this video in the comment section. Leave your opinions down below. Hit the like button, guys. It really helps the channel out. And of course, if you are brand new, consider hitting subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.